Yeah, this is Point Black, coming in hard and off the car, coming with the flow, straight to the barrio, and coming with the heat from the damn street. We coming with them facts to crack backs and the boom bit to their loud ass lips. This is PBNN Point Black, national news, the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well. This is how we do. Now today we're going in on a few things, as usual. We have to look at all these factors and things that may be plaguing our nation and the world as a whole. We also see where we have a lot of people who believe that other people must bend to their will and must always be their little stoolie that they could pick on. But when it comes to Point Black, that's not going to work because I'm just as rebellious as anyone else. No matter what scheme or game you pull, it is not going to work because the mother has got me. Your Luciferian God is going to destroy you. But at the same time, we look at the situations and the procedures that people must go through. And this shows the fact that you have drawn a bad card. You have drawn bad card, as we see. So they have made their move and send a signal and letting to know that you are doing this, you are saying this, and you are scheming this, but it does not work. In the world that we live in today, whether you like it or not, when it comes to Point Black, I'm going to give you the fucking smoke. And I'm going to analyze everything that I see within my grasp based on your Luciferian so-called religious God. I don't follow your garbage. I follow the ways of my people and the free thinkers of the world. Those that think with wisdom, and understanding. The rest of y'all could keep your gods, your church, and whatever else you have, and do you know what with it. But that belongs to my people, we would like it back and out of your hands, which they're not going to do that. Even when we talk about, many other things, because we see people have a lot of schemes and games that think it would silence the great Point Black because you're pulling this bullshit that you do. But it's not going to change the narrative, my friend. It is going to continue down on the same path until we hit the milestone. Because one thing I've learned about people, they will always play their hand to let me know that my political views, in which or you call political views, or if we think of the world as a Rahman, you know what I'm saying? You are full of shit. So, as we moving on, I'm going to leave it there. You know what I'm saying? Because as we have an old saying, if the shoe fit, let them wear it. Now, we move on to where we see here today. We have it coming from the New York Post. You know what I'm saying? New York lawmakers push for slavery reparations for black residents. Some New Yorker lawmakers are renewing the push for state law that would lay the groundwork to pay reparations to black residents whose ancestors were enslaved. And I hope that goes for all over the globe that you call Earth, because my people was all over the world long before you got your banana boat here. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So reparations, you know what I'm saying, to me would be tell the motherfucking truth of the historical facts and the bullshit that you have done to cover it up in order for the world to see you as some kind of socialist god. Now, as we see the prominent gain scheme after a task force in California last week recommended that the Golden State shell out 569 billion in reparations for slavery descendants. There are 223 200 apiece because of lingering housing discrimination practice. Of course, the original man, you see the reason why people don't understand this thing as what it is. Because once you have converted the people's minds into Christianity and all kinds of garbage so that they put into these people's minds, and not only that, reinforce it with all kinds of deep state Luciferian garbage, and then put forward into the people's minds over generation and generation and generation in time, of course they're not going to be able to understand the lie and the schemes and the garbage that you do. Because people can't go back in history and see what happened. They can only go off of who's telling the story and trying to drive the narrative. So we have to look at that. You know what I'm saying? And the reparations that I'm seeking is those for you to tell the fucking truth. And stop lying to the people and let them know who and where you got all your technology and all the garbage that you stole out of Africa and Egypt and many other places, you know what I'm saying, that belongs to black people. And black people created them. And until you decide to come off that old whitewashing piece of garbage that you play, the white race will never truly know their true power. You have robbed them even of that. Black people are natural power. We don't need your help. What we need you to do is move out of the way and watch us turn our people into gods. But we see it again, and they wanted to separate, and they wanted a peace because of the discrimination. Previously, Paul's New York measures called for creating a commission to study the impact of slavery. You don't need no commission to study no impact of slavery and the providing of reparations, but failed to pass the legislatures. You know what I'm saying? It is now being revised. Backer said. Yes, as you see. We saw what happened in California. We want to pass a bill that starts a conversation, and more than that, we want to see it come out with its reparation, but the conversation must take place because there is too much chaos and chaotic spells on my people's brain voting Demon Democrat every goddamn year other than forming their own party, you know what I'm saying, and doing bullshit thereof for them after they had damn now destroy your people. Now you're telling me that the leopard changed its spots. Now I'm saying, but the reparations, you know what I'm saying, start a conversation about the reparations, and Assemblywoman Michelle Sologis, whatever her name is, the Demon Democrat of Nassau, chairwoman of New York, Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Legislation Caucus, to the polls, you know what I'm saying, as we see. So, we hope to see some kind of goodness out of this bullshit, because while people are sitting around here trying to eavesdrop in your motherfucking mouth in your conversations every chance they get to go back and tell whoever they go tell and report to their little massa, is the sole reason why they got stuck up. You know what I mean? So get out of my face. You're garbage. But at the same time, we move on. And we see many different things that are going on today. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think that they have control over something. I don't know who the fuck told you, you know what I'm saying, that you have the right to enslave anybody on planet Earth in the beginning of anything at all. And this has been a practice that's been going on in many different nations and many different across the globe as a whole. And we have to quell this now. You know what I'm saying? We have to quell this now. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, a lot of this needs to be quelled. We see the skyrocketing slurs of racism has come into play in many of the newscasts that go on lately. Every time the demon Democrat seems to cheat our election, we hear a lot about this, which shouldn't still be going on. But this is how they fuel their little world. You see, because socialist individuals and who have the mind frame don't believe that you have anything. They believe what you have belongs to them as well, even though they never worked for it or invented anything at all, or even created, even probably a pencil. But when it comes to your pocket, they believe because they have the power of your vote in electing them into orbit that they could change the dynamics when it comes to the government from socialist to communist to totalitarian and all kinds of different fucking Nazism and all kinds of garbage up in the government that you call a free state, such as the United States. But we see the skyrocketing slurs, racism, and anti-Semitic. What the heck is who is anti-Semitic? I hope they're talking about a black man. Contains on Twitter may encourage domestic terrorists. Report warns on violence invitable, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But when we look at Twitter and the slurs and the different things that the people are saying up on Twitter that might be anti, we ain't going for that bullshit. Because if you ain't talking no goddamn true science, you ain't talking no goddamn true, goddamn, not their God, goddamn DNA, you're not talking no graphic, you're not talking no goddamn nothing other than the fact of what somebody told you or you must have read in a book, because you sure didn't do no archaeologist work. You actually don't even prove it. And even the archaeologist work that you claim you're doing is someone else doing it for you and trying to control the narrative, such as when they went into Egypt and the black people was asking them why you keep thinking about ancestors in Egypt, and some Arab guy came in there and he said some bullshit like, when the people kept questioning, he said, no, and arguing back and forth, he said, no, they're not black, they're brown. Like it makes a difference what our people is. You ain't brown either, clown. You know what I'm saying? So what the hell is you doing in Egypt all these years, digging up our ancestors, when Egyptian crazy probably was even fueling their trains, using the dead bodies of our ancestors to fuel their train back and forth through that desert. Get out of my face, you garbage then. You're garbage now. And the rest of the people and the black people who follow you are garbage, in my mind, because they have not changed the mentality nor the narrative. You know what I'm saying? All they're doing is following. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Republican because my ancestors had a lot to do that. And it ain't nothing to follow. It's a fact of the matter of the trueness of their light. You clown suckers. But anyway, when we look at this particular story, as we see coming in on the news, we want to find out what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? But they're saying it's even better. So Elon Musk is, he tweets with slurs and anti-Semitism have skyrocketed since Elon Musk took over. Federal officials have warned that Twitter posts will translate to real-world actions of violence. Elon Musk need to, make sure that people are talking facts. They're talking truth. They're talking, they're talking graphics in many ways based on the truth, not just saying all kinds of garbage or shit. But at the same time, maybe Elon Musk have it contained where it becomes just a place for them to blow off steam. Because I can't believe people will follow anything that just somebody posts and put on Twitter and think that that's just going to be the end of the truth of the fact. Just like when Point Blank do what he do, I'm saying? At any given time, I stand corrected. I would like to be corrected. So I know for well what it is I have to study in order to make it so. I do my research. Other people do research by Twitter or listening to other people or TikTok or whatever. We're not in that. That's not going to fuel anybody's brain because most of those people will have a slavish mentality and they're slaves themselves, but getting goodies and thinking that the goodies and the group and the different cultures that they follow mixing all together, that they have to be somebody special. And even in that group is not them, so they're going to try to convince them to follow only them, and they're going to end up on that side anyway, and then get mad at you because that's what they taught all these people. Even our own black people have been taught to hate their own. So the question still remains, what true friend does a black man have? Still stands today. You know what I'm saying? You know, we have a lot in common with the world. We are the world in itself. You know what I'm saying? What we see here, it was only a matter of time, Suffolk County clerks say. She raised concern before the massive hack. So they're back doing that garbage again. You know what I'm saying? But you created the internet, didn't you? We see the January 6th committee members, Jamie Raskin, on Trump. People are hanging. People are hungering. I'm sorry. Raskin, I guess, on Trump saying people are hungering for justice, for accountability in consequence. You know what I'm saying? As we see, media is cloud.